What's going on, friends? James Nguyen here with the Alpha Red Comic Channel. Thank you for joining me for another episode of my new segment called "Can You Draw?" This is where uh, I take the time with someone who is commissioning me. Let me put this out of my ear to do a drawing, and I invite them to watch me draw the picture that they're paying me to draw, and we can talk about comics. We can talk about the character. It doesn't matter what we talk about, as long as we're experiencing the drawing together. So it can be a mainstream comic. I can draw Batman, Spider-Man, whoever. But today we are going to be drawing Iron Knight. This is created by Shae. I'm going to bring him on, and he can tell us all about Iron Knight. All right. Are you ready for my buddy Shae? Welcome to
Hey,
the Alpha Red Comic Channel. Can you draw? How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, and I know what you're all thinking, and the answer is no, I can't draw.
That's why I get paid. That's why people give me some coin, and I make things happen. So I'm thankful that that you trusted me with your character, and I look forward to drawing him here. So tell me a little bit about Iron Knight. Let me bring him on to the stage. Kabamski. Look at that.
Kaboom.
That's a
There it
pretty
is. And that's
imposing character there.
what
Oh.
you do when you can't draw. So obviously this is a pretty early edition of an AI render. You can tell by the spelling and the rivers in the back. This is a cyberpunk story about people that live in the city of rivers. It is a cyberpunk dystopian walled city. I haven't quite gone into the series about why the walls are there, but we know that there was a war, there's a last stand in humanity, and then within the city there's a lot of crime. And Iron Knight is an ex-military vigilante of the streets who patrols during the day and at night, and not so much going after just gangs and street level criminals, but he more so targets high level corruption. So executives and the people that kind of make the decisions that make the world a terrible place to live. That's Iron Knight's crosshairs.
Wow. That's very cool. Very cool. Here's another image. Very cool. Very cool. So we are going to jump into it. Actually, can they pick up a copy of Iron Knight?
So currently there are no Iron Knight stories. There's a origin story in the form of the Last Day comic.
Okay.
That looks backwards here. But
Where
this
can we
guy
can we pick up the Last Day comic? Is that one of the links that you gave
this
me?
you can pick up on thelastday.com. Yes, thelastdaycomic.com. It's it focuses more so on Steve and Silas and how the secondary character Silas gets into the VR world and gets his powers. It's a 2-part series, which the second part is coming out. So I don't want to reveal too much, but Iron Knight is introduced in this year's comic that's supposed to come out, the second part, showing how those characters operate. And then on the website there, you'll see a lot of other characters. So the story's moving in different timelines all at the same time. Just I'm piecing things together. But if you scroll down a little, yep, there's a comic there. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, it says other books. You have City Voices, and that's the written book of people that live in that dystopian city, and they talk about Iron Knight. And then there's another book that stems from that. It's not on the page yet. That I'll be posting this month, where they follow the Iron Knight specifically. So this drawing that you're doing is going to be a part of the release of that book coming to the website and being pushed a little harder. And it's the story of Iron Knight, where we follow that character instead of just hearing about him through legend.
Okay. Well, he has a theme song, and I forgot to start it. So here we go. Here we go. So the other site that you gave me, let me pull that up here. I'm not ready for that. Nope. Is it here? This one. So this is was this the last one? Shadow of the Night. Is this the last book that
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
talking?
this is the right one. So yeah, Shadow of the Night is the last one. That's the story of Iron Knight. I name it Shadow of the Night because he is being shadowed by another character, which is Silas. They meet at the very beginning of the book, and it's an exact continuation from what happens in the comic here. So you go through the comic, you get the first part of the story, and then in the book, it picks up directly at the end of the comic the next day, and you kind of go through there. And so he ends up meeting Iron Knight, and he shadows him throughout the rest of the book, which is why it's called Shadow of the Night.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So I am gonna get started. Let me remove this. Stop sharing that so I can share my drawing board. Ba-dum-ba-dum-bum-bum. There we go.
Wow, that's cool. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I see what you did. I was like, how did you do
Yeah.
that?
So this is this is just a just for reference, isn't it? So I took all the images that you sent me for Iron Knight, and I
Yeah.
put them on here so that I can get a feel of the character, and then really have the references that I need when we go into it. So you asked me to make it more of a homage of the poster for Akira. So
Classic.
yeah, so it's
Total
classic.
Oh, that's
anime.
cool. Did you go to Pinterest or something for that?
Yeah, I don't know what I did.
And they always
I
got
did.
cool stuff.
They do. They do. I forget where I got most of them off of Pinterest, but I have so many more than this. I settled on these to kind of inspire the Iron Knight. What do you call it? The Iron Knightsicle? I don't know. What do you call Iron Knights?
Let's call it the Iron Steed. We'll call it the Iron Steed.
Steed. Okay.
I'm playing off of the old like knight in shining armor, but trying to make it all futuristic. So
Sure.
I'll
I
be
get
corny
it.
and pull on that string as often as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So
I like how this yellow one is like heavily armored.
yeah. So I mean, in my mind, I mean this pops up to be a cannon that shoots, and then back here
dope.
are like guns, like a turret thing, and then on the back, I don't know. So we'll see what happens. So what I did was I took this image and then I blew it up, and then that's what we're gonna do. This is how I create homage covers for my own comic books. So I'm gonna use that technique to really bring the homage to life. So I take the real image and then I blow it up to as big as I need, and this would be the roughly the same size as the width of a normal comic book page or cover. So this will be at a good size to be used to generate a poster or a cover that is very close to the Akira image. So that is where we
Very cool.
start. So I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to use the references that you gave me to kind of really tighten down the image. So you told me that he has a cape or a scarf or something, and I didn't know how long
I
it
forget
was.
the name of it. It's that Roman cape that it's about waist long.
Okay.
Just maybe waist just below the waist. You ever see those Roman capes that go over one side?
That's how you described it to me. And
yeah, the idea is you can obfuscate what you're doing without having a full-on cape,
right.
and it kind of plays into the soldier imagery.
Yeah. So
And then with this character, it's he uses an invisibility cloak, and that's actually the invisibility cloak that he uses.
very cool. So I want to put in as much detail as I can, just to kind of make sure that I get the details when I go in with the inks. So
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about Iron Knight. Like, pitch it to
Well-
the folks here.
Yeah, so we went through a lot of different types of I don't want to pull on public trauma. We've seen a lot of like protests and riots and things and crime waves in different countries across the world, not just here in the US. And a lot of time, and I grew up in a really bad neighborhood, and a lot of times when we were seeing these things happening, there were always people who were like, man, I wish somebody would just like step up and do something about these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like in my particular upbringing, there were these gangs that were always beefing, and they would shoot up some old lady's house, or they would shoot up a playground or something, and people would be like, man, I really wish that somebody would just go out and, you know, we know who these guys are, why don't they do something about it? And it felt like not only was there a lot of crime,
Mm-hmm.
but the city itself felt like it was corrupt, and so it felt like the people in charge were maybe using that to their advantage.
Yeah.
And so that's the catalyst that I pull on from growing up in that environment, and then seeing it just widespread. I'd see stuff on the news about some other country that was going through what felt like the same thing.
Sure.
And so when you're imagining cyberpunk, it's always like a corrupt government, you know, and high disparity in classes, and you have the poor people that live on the outskirts, and there's a lot of crime. That's like basic cyberpunk 101.
Sure.
And a lot of them do have walls and giant walls on the cities and stuff. And so I would imagine, like, yeah, you got heavy military police, but they have an agenda. If it's a corrupt government, what are the vigilantes going to be like?
Sure.
And growing up looking at cyberpunk anime and this futuristic type dystopian anime, a lot of the people were expert mechanics. They were expert at building things, and they had all these cool weapons that they pieced together from scrap of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so the main idea with Iron Knight was, what if this was a guy who had some experience from the inside, who was disillusioned, and used that experience to piece together his own stuff, but instead of scrap, you know, it's expertly made. Like, remember The Dark Knight, where they had those people who were inspired by Batman, and he's like, what's the difference between me and you? And he says, I'm not wearing hockey pads. You know, like,
yeah. So he's got the real deal.
People,
he's got real deal.
You're gonna have people who want justice, but they can't provide for themselves, and so they're walking around with scraps. And then you're gonna have a guy who has access by whatever means to real deal stuff.
Yeah.
And so
what gives Iron Knight the access to the real deal stuff?
I don't reveal it in the books, but you can imply that because he's got ex-military status, he knows where to get stuff. Because he's going after high level corporate officials, he's probably, I don't want to say stealing, confiscating their equipment and funds and things that they're using to run their operations, and redirecting that to his own purpose.
Mm-hmm.
He works out of safe houses, and so one of the plot lines I would like to work with is, yeah, he's stashing stuff all over the place. He takes down a convoy, opens the truck, it's full of weapons. He's gonna stash it. He's not just gonna like melt it down and destroy it. Like, he's gonna put it to good use.
Sure.
Iron Knight is noir. He's a very gray, not full expedience, but a tactical gray character. So unlike your traditional heroes, where it's like, yeah, he would find the weapons and he would melt them down and just destroy them, like, Iron Knight's going to use them to his advantage. And people would say, well, that's not really, you know, admirable or honorable, and you're right. And that's the thing about a noir character. So that's the next level of Iron Knight, is he's cyber noir. He's a knight. He's not a knight in shining white armor. He's actually a knight in black armor. So he's like a black knight fighting the worst of the worst guys, and he's fighting dirty. Because in this world, you have superpowered individuals they call TKs that have telekinetic powers of various stripes. He doesn't have anything like that. So he doesn't have powers. He doesn't have a high position of authority. He just operates in the shadows. This is very much a Batman detective archetype as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And you'll see that with a lot of my characters. I draw heavily on archetypes.
Sure. Yeah, I think most people are okay with that. You know, there's many more stories, many more different kinds of origins, motivations for characters that are similar. You know.
Yeah. And with the, so look at okay, cyber noir or noir, you know, that's a lot of pulp. And in that archetype, you always have the shadowy figure who fights crime from the shadows, detective style. going cutting head off the snake type stories. So going after the head officials or the head guy. So all that is pretty sets the stage. I mean, it gives me a lot of room. With Iron Knight, the things I lean on for him is his willpower, his determination, and his mind is his power. So he's very determined, pushing forward. You'll see that in the book, sometimes to his own detriment. But I have to, as a writer, lay into the fact that he's human, that he might mess up, that he might make the wrong decision. And like in real life, if you make the wrong decision, you got to keep moving forward and just do the best you can in this, with what you're given. Sure. Where a lot of our mainstream heroes, especially somebody like Batman, who is in that same archetype, to me, it seems like he's become contingency man rather than an actual superhero who's thinking on his feet.
Right.
And so, like, if Superman can do anything, and then your other character has a plan for everything, it's almost like there's not much story to be told. You're just waiting for, okay, where's the twist? Where with Iron Knight, I want you to feel like if he falls off a building, he's really hurt.
Right.
But the criminals don't go away just because he's hurt. So what do you do then? Like that's the type of storytelling that I'm putting in these books.
That's awesome. So right now, it's only in written form, like prose, not comic book yet.
No, there's no Iron Knight comic book yet. I'm open to it, but being a writer, I think way faster than the comic book process. Like,
oh yeah,
last year making that comic was like excruciatingly slow. It's cool to see the images when they come in because I hired an artist. Her name is Lilica, and to me, she's an expert in panel-to-panel storytelling, sequential art. But going through the planning process and what we're doing here, it's cool to see it. It's a different art of its own, but my expertise just doesn't lie there. It's planning and writing into a corner and then backing up and saying, well, we won't go there. We'll do this. And if I was writing every week, like how people do a chapter a week and then you write yourself into a corner, then how do you reset? So I like to plan the whole book first and then bring you the bits of, hey, this would make a good comic. Like there's a scene where Silas and Iron Knight are going after some guys, and they're kind of trailing the security detail and taking them out one by one. I think that would be a cool comic, but the whole story surrounding it would not be a cool comic because there's a lot of emotional development and things going on.
Sure.
So I kind of feel like the comics will be icing on the cake for readers, but they'll also be a good entry point for somebody who's interested in the books, because I want to show the depth and the emotional baggage and the emotional weight behind a lot of the stories. Like with Iron Knight, in the beginning of the book, the very first or second chapter, he's talking about how he's been fighting crime for a long time. He's getting tired. He's starting to burn out, and it feels like he's not really making a difference.
Yeah.
And that's the part you always skip over in the comic, you put those little strips and and he's driving and it's all exciting, but like in the words on the side, it's all this like boring emotional, like nobody wants to read that. So I don't want to give readers that. I want to give it to them in the book form, so they're prepared for it.
I can appreciate that, because I don't pick up comics that are too wordy. Not that the story doesn't matter, because it takes a really good story to keep you there. But I'm there for some action. I'm there for some visual, some of the visual things that I think are more important in comics. Not that writing isn't, obviously, but yeah, definitely. If you're going to build out that world, I think that's smart to have a place that people can dive into that world, and hopefully when you do the comic, you can hint at some of those things that you spent time creating, and you can invite those people to dive deeper, using the comic as a way to kind of introduce them to that.
And a lot of times when you're working with a good artist, they can show in 1 or 2 panels pages of dialogue without the dialogue. You know, like there's a scene where, man, I'm giving away so much in this book. There's a scene where Steve
Don't worry, my
falls
audience
asleep.
is small, so you're not giving it away to too many people.
There's a scene where Steve falls asleep mid-conversation with Silas because they've been at it for days, and he's just day and night. Like, so another thing about this character that I forgot to put out there, he works a meager job as a janitor so that he can get in close to the executives. And so they talk trash and they think he's a nobody, and he's fine with that because he's close enough to hear what they're talking about.
Right.
And he's planting bugs and stuff. So he's at it for days and days and days, and him and Silas are on a case, and he falls asleep on the couch mid-conversation. And Silas knows that he's been awake. He's been concerned about it. He's brought it up a few times. And then he looks at the Iron Knight helmet, and he actually considers dressing up like Iron Knight and going out on patrol for Steve so Steve can sleep. And he's like, Steve will probably kill me if I do that. So he just lets him sleep, and he walks and he closes the door behind him. Yeah. Where a good artist could draw all of that in less than a page, maybe a page with like a big panel or something. That was, I think, 2 or 3 pages of dialogue, because you have all this emotional internal dialogue going on. Yeah. Where I guess like somebody who's emotional would enjoy that. That's the thing I admire about artists, visual artists. Like even AI can't do that. Like you notice, like we'll do cool spectacle pieces with an AI, and he's got cool armor and stuff, but you can't tell a visual story with AI. Maybe in a few years, maybe, but it's still, everything is very upfront and center, you know, where the artist's mind is obscure and he's going to use unique angles, and he's going to draw from emotion himself as he's drawing. You know, that's Lilica does a really, really good job of that in the Last Day issue number 1.
Yeah.
Some of the angles that she used were so amazing. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it looked fantastic for sure. So that was thelastday.com. Was that the
Last Day comic?
The Last Day.
thelastdaycomic.com.
Okay. No, it looked like really good. Do you have copies of it, like at your house? Can you
physical copies? Yeah.
Okay. Do you have it handy?
I do. I have this copy right here.
Let's see if I can make you bigger here. Nope, not me.
Okay, so I tend to hold it up every time. I got this one right here. This is the actual comic. It is in manga, black and white manga format. So this is another artist named I don't want to mess up her name. Let me look at it before I say it. Abe Boje. And she did these first 2 panels, and then Lilica kind of takes over for the rest of the book. So let me switch to the panel. This right here, I should probably just give you the digital version of this. That panel right there with the troll, that was the first thing that I ever sent her, and I was so like moved when I saw it. I was like, what the heck? So yeah, she does a really good job of that visual storytelling. But then I even got a special edition for my backers when we did the Kickstarter, where you got to see the sketches that, like, she would send me sketches before drawing them out. Because I was like, how is she doing this? Like, she's just that good. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me, dude. Like, you could see like his hair was different in the first couple of panels.
That's really cool. But that's not Iron Knight.
No, none of that is Iron Knight. He's never been drawn in a profile. Those AI images are the only visual reference that I've ever had.
Okay. And
then like as I was developing that, the whole like anti-AI wave was going around. So I just didn't want to talk to anybody about it. I was like, right. I'll wait until I find somebody who could be cool about it, and then I'll hire that person.
Yeah. No, you're not the first person that has brought me AI art and just said, "Hey, can you make this like do like a physical normal art for it?"
Yeah.
So
I I like it because I don't have to. I feel like I took a lot of the frustration out of the process. Like when I came to you,
Yeah.
you just saw 2 images,
Yeah.
but those are probably like image number 50 and 75.
I was gonna say these are very good. Like I've tried with a lot of my artwork to see if I can save any time, if AI can help me save any time, and it comes out nothing usable for me anyway.
No. Even if like with the advanced stuff, if it's like it's got a weird thing going on with the hand and you can highlight it and say correct the hand, you'll still get a totally different image.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's reliable in that respect. But
Yeah.
for me to have something solid to bring to you, and even that's not 100% what I want,
Yeah.
but you can actually work with what I have as a reference, and that's way more valuable.
Yeah. No.
This bike is
definitely.
looking pretty dope.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just kind of making up things as I go along here, just to kind of make it look cyberpunkish. Well, like more like Akira punkish.
Yeah. So while we're looking at that, I don't know if it's the artist, but it's definitely it reminds me of Masamune Shiro, and I believe it's the same artist. Do you know that artist?
Is that the Ghost in the Shell guy
Yeah.
or girl? I'm not sure because I'm not familiar with Japanese names, but Masamune Shiro, I believe, is it the same guy who did Dominion, Appleseed?
Oh yeah. Tank Police. I just watched that with my wife, and she's like, "Why would you make me watch this?" Like, you don't realize when you go back to the '90s how extreme that stuff was.
Was it? I remember watching it,
super
but
extreme.
Okay. In what way?
Language for sure.
Okay.
Like in the intro credits, the dude's like, "Let's blow these MFers away."
Really?
Like, whoa! Now it's like the opening credits, dude. You got to warn people.
Yeah.
But I went to the Internet Archive and I wanted to find some of his early work, and it's not safe for work. The guy was very extreme. I don't think it's a woman, because when I look at what he's doing, it's like, nah, I don't think a woman would draw all that.
Yeah.
But you do raise a good point. I just assumed it was a guy. I never looked into it.
Yeah. No,
But that circular style, like, it's iconic. Like I feel like a little disappointed that we didn't get this in real life. You know, where the boxes actually have that curve to it and on everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they certainly didn't mass produce it, but there's people who have recreated the Akira cycle. You know.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, no, it's I was showing my daughter Akira for the first time, and she's just all confused. And to be honest, I was.
It's not a real straightforward story, no.
No. And I read about it then. You know, we Wikipedia'd it, and even then, it was like, oh, okay. It was really, for me, the reputation was the artwork, the animation was just next level.
And the ideas that you can grasp
yeah,
are foundational for my understanding of cyberpunk and telekinesis, because I'm really fascinated with those intersections, like transhumanism, if you will.
Yeah.
Where you have, through technology, a human gains extraordinary powers.
Mm-hmm.
And in Akira, where what's his name? I can't remember. Tatsuo. Where he does that psychic thing where he like expands the room around him and it like breaks the walls, but it's round.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is, I every time I think of it, I can still see that imagery of him just like and then like the room, it doesn't just explode. Like you see the circular imprint before as the metal is expanding. I'm like, that is amazing. Like, why don't we think like this?
Yeah,
I guess that's why they call it genius, you know.
Yeah.
I showed my wife a couple scenes from that, and then the hallway fight where he like basically explodes a guy, and she's like, "This is disgusting. Why you showing me this?" She always makes me question like whether or not I'm a good person when I show her stuff.
That's too funny. That's funny. No, I don't even bother with my wife. she would just walk away.
I
I
have
can't
these
even get
fond
her.
memories.
Yeah. If she knew that I was going to show her something like a cartoon, she would just never enter the room.
I think that's the sign of a strong marriage, where you have hobbies that your spouse can't stand.
Uh-huh. She's like, hey, you can do it. You can do whatever you want. Not anything, but like you do you, and I'll be over here. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we do share. Like sometimes where I'm just sitting and drawing, I've asked her just to be in the room, just kind of, so she'll sit next to me and read or whatever, because she's just going to be reading anyway. It's just nice to have her around, just in case conversation comes up. You know?
I got into photography because of my wife.
Yeah.
Which we were just talking about AI a second ago. I think I might have to start using photography, like actual photographs that I've taken as reference.
Mm-hmm.
Because like sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll be like, do this and here's a reference, and it'll just do like, I don't even want to get into the disappointment, but it'll disappoint me with the results. And I'm like, I have this image in my mind where it's like, if I had a photograph, I could have actually like maybe done better.
So
I like how
you can feed it. You can feed it into the AI. I've never uploaded anything. Well, I guess I did on the one site.
Well, I use ChatGPT 04, and it's got a major upgrade, but in a lot of ways, it's gotten some downgrades.
Okay.
There's a fly in here. That's why I seem a little jumpy.
I'm not even looking. I'm looking down. So,
but
the people watching.
I don't want people to think like I'm tripping or something. It's like, I think I keep looking around. There's a fly that keeps hitting me in the head, and I'm looking to take him out, but I'm also trying to be mindful of the fact I'm on camera. But if you see me lash out, that's why, because I've gotten to my limit.
Like these creative types, they're so.
We're just gonna do this now. I'm just gonna pull the Band-Aid off. Hang on. Got it. Oh God, no, I didn't get him.
I was gonna say, did you do it with chopsticks? You have chopsticks handy?
No, I got a fly swatter. I keep it. Okay, no, that's enough time for the fly. You had your 15 minutes, fly. So yeah, you can feed images to it and it'll reference them fairly well. It used to be like you'd feed it an image and it would just give you something wildly different. It was so funny how unpredictable it was.
Yeah.
Now it's gotten really good.
Did I show you some of the pictures that I tried to have it do?
I don't think so.
Changed the picture. Like it
No.
put like bunnies and wolves and stuff in it. It was Alpha Red. Like there's like 4 superheroes standing on the cover, and one became a giant bunny in the back, and there was like a wolf. I was like, what in the
dude? Well, the way people respond, I have to imagine how they respond to children, because that's how I see it right now. It's a collective child.
Yeah, okay.
And it's so sincere, and it really wants to try and help, and sometimes it's just like so wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just imagine, like, when your kid brings you something where proportion has just gone out the window, and they're like, I drew this, and you're like, wow, look at the eyes on that thing. That's amazing.
Right.
Oh, but I forgot where I was going with that whole story.
No, the AI gives you some messed up stuff sometimes. I think you were saying that you've got it trained pretty good.
Yeah. I'm apparently what's called a power user.
Okay.
Where I don't just chat with it, and I don't just use it to make images. I mean, that's like baseline stuff. Okay. I use it for logic and for consistency and things like that. So like in a comic book or in a superhero story, you want to believe that your guy can punch through a steel wall or something.
Right.
But that might not be realistic at all. And to me, that's an actual that matters.
Yeah.
You're taking a progress shot.
Yeah. So like I'll post it. Post it when I go live with it. Like obviously, well, maybe not to the people watching, but this is a private stream, and then I'll repost it later So it'll just be a way for me to share that progress, because I mean,
I dig it. I dig it.
process. I like process type stuff. I know
So
appreciate it. So go ahead.
I forgot what I was talking about again. I'm really bad with that.
That's all right. That's all right. It's because the dog ate you didn't have any lunch.
The dog ate my lunch, and yeah, sometimes I know it's something to do with the AI, but I don't take it that seriously. Sometimes that people do.
Oh, you're a
so it's like
master
talking
user or
about
something, you
traffic.
said?
Oh yeah,
You're a power
yeah.
user. You're a power user.
Power you. Okay, so I was saying if you want to believe your guy will punch through a wall or something. So like I'll actually like run simulations like, hey, if I use this metal, will it pierce that metal? Or
wow.
if I hit a tree with this type of material, what would happen to the tree? You know, like I want to know for my writing, because I have access to, well, you can't Google things anymore, first of all. You know, you say, hey, Google, if I hit a tree with a baseball bat, what happens? And it's like, here's a picture of a duck. I don't know what happened to Google in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT is a good search engine and logic simulator for me.
Yeah.
And not just for things like that, but like I'm working on this card game. And so I'll say, we have 50 cards. Here's how many cards of each, sort it into a deck of 30. You know, we have 3 variants. So based on what we have, this is how the cards will play. Here's the rules of the game. Cause I made a game with my kid based on this universe, and we had rules. And so I've been, every day I'll be like, here's a new layer of how the rules work. And here's new cards, and here's a new character, but it's all in a project folder. And so essentially I can just in a few hours make a deck without making the actual cards, just the concept of a deck, and play simulations to see how it flows.
Really? That's neat. I mean, I'm not an RPG guy. I'm not that kind of card guy.
Yeah.
But no, that's neat that you can do that. So you said the card game is a part of this this cyberpunk dystopian future?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so we're calling it the Last Day City Brawlers. And what I want is, even though that I have characters that I haven't written about, I want readers to be able to find a character they relate to with a snippet of a backstory and powers and play style. And it's just like Street Fighter. You know, if you remember Street Fighter,
I do. Yep.
You had a cool game, but you didn't have the whole thing, you know?
Sure. You didn't need it, right? You like the powers, you like the look, you like the whatever, and then you just played it.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I write about the story, my prediction is that you connected and bonded with this character at least a little bit.
Sure.
And so you're suffering with the character when he goes through his adventure, because you know his backstory, you know his limits even. And I think that goes both ways, you know. So I can tap into the card game world, I can tap into the comic book / reader world, but the whole point is that these characters are individuals. They're not just boxes to check, you know.
Right.
And I want everything to have a reason. So yeah, the card mechanics is important to me, and I've actually discovered things about my characters that I probably wouldn't have written before I started working on the card game. Because you want the mechanics to make sense to the character. And so, like, I had a guy who was like a military guy named Colonel Triumph, and I mentioned him a few times in the stories, but I haven't really done anything with him.
Right.
And I ended up writing his story based on a news story that came out, and I worked it into his mechanics, and the end result, I'll skip the story because it's highly political, but the end result was that he uses this machine to predict the future and to report back to the past, to tell himself how things worked out. And as a result, it makes him an expert tactician.
Yeah.
And he calls it the Liberty Machine. And he's like my universe's version of Captain America, but it's more of a gray hero because he keeps breaking the timeline. It'd be like if you mix Captain America with M. Bison.
Okay.
And so he was like in control of the military, and he's like this really strong, tough guy, and he really cares about his city. But like he's very questionable because you don't know why he's doing the things he's doing. And it's because he can see in front into the future. He could be like, I could show mercy to this person, but that person goes on to be a mass killer. So I'm just going to arrest him now. People are like, dude, you didn't even give him a chance. And like a very Minority Report, you know?
Yeah.
And in the game mechanics, he rewrites your fighting style. So you might do this like super move that should crush everything on field. He'll just make it where you never did that.
So you're it sounds like you are an RPG guy, like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of like a gamer, like that kind of a gamer.
I could be. I could see. I have to find an RPG that appeals to me on an emotional level. I don't like fantasy. I don't like high fantasy or sword and sorcery like at all. I tried to give Conan a chance, but I can't get into it, man.
Yeah.
And that's what D&D feels like to me.
Yeah. Like as I create things for Alpha Red, I want Alpha Red to like get outside of comic books. And but I don't have much interest outside of comic books. So like I don't know what makes a good RPG. I don't know what makes exciting things like that. And
yeah, that's a logic thing, I think. Like replay value.
Yeah. Whatever it is about gaming, it just never clicked with me. So I as I'm trying to develop something, I'm like, just can't. I don't even understand. I don't understand the draw for me. So I can't make it.
Part of my motivation for this card game experiment is to present you with an Alpha Red deck after I finish reading all the comics and the story makes sense. And
dude, that would be
that's totally
amazing.
In the chamber. Like I don't know if I told you that.
No.
Because I want to reach out to other people after I get the mechanics right.
Bro, that would be amazing.
I was watching you finish the top of that bike, and I was mesmerized.
Yeah, it just kept getting better. I was like, it looks too simple. It looks too simple. Let's do it. Do it more. But all right, we are ready for some inks. And what do you want to see first? You want to see the bike first, or do you want to see Iron Knight?
Let's do the bike first.
Okay.
I mean, I forgot what I was talking about while I was talking because I was watching you draw the top of the bike.
Oh, the RPG. You're gonna reach out to other creators.
Yeah. So we're still a few months out because I'm tweaking stuff. But if you have, not just Alpha Red, but like another character you want me to consider, I'll start working on the mechanics for it because I am a nerd in that respect.
Yeah. No, for easily Wingman for me would be the next character. I gotta throw this away. This number 2 thing fools me like all the time because it's still in my toolbox, and I go to.
Oh, you keep thinking it has ink in it?
Yeah, like it has ink, and then I go to use it, and it's worse.
I'm like that with highlighters at work.
Yeah, highlighters.
Get a highlighter out, and it doesn't work, and I put it right back in the basket.
Yep. Like, why are you still here? Why are you still here?
So Iron Knight's deck is a combo deck. He's a brawler. Yeah. And because I don't want to just talk about other characters. I do want to sell this one.
Yeah.
Iron Knight's fighting style is. I showed the kids a picture that I did for the card, and they said he looks like a cast iron skillet. And I'm like, I can see that. But I mean, in my kids' mind, because my kids think like me, so they do shorthand in real time. My youngest daughter will take a very complex idea and just sum it up in a few words. And she says he looks like a cast iron skillet. And I think about it, and I look at his armor, and I'm like, yeah, he looks like he's wearing a cast iron skillet. Like if he hit you with a cast iron skillet, you would just die.
Yeah.
Like,
That's too fun.
Being powered armor, that's. I don't think we actually think about the realism of what we're creating.
Yeah.
Like stepping aside from Iron Knight, I give you Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happens if Captain America hits you with his shield? Because you know how he throws it and you see it ricochet off 2 or 3 guys.
it ricochets off of everything. It ricochets off of cars. It ricochets off of cement walls. Like it's gonna hurt.
But it does. But then it hits a guy, and you think like, oh well, it bounced off the car. It bounced off the guy, the wall or whatever. The guy got knocked over. Like that guy didn't just get knocked over. Like he's not the same guy anymore. You know, like you get hit by Captain America's shield and you get up a different person if you ever get up at all. Like you have to go to the hospital every month for the rest of your life. You know, that's like getting hit with a manhole cover.
Uh-huh.
And there's a creator brought that scenario up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, definitely don't want to get hit with Captain America's shield. And now I'm bringing that concept to every character. So if an armored hero who can take gunfire is because his armor is so thick hits you with powered armor, whatever he hit is just not there anymore. It's your arm is obliterated. That's got to be getting like getting hit by a Honda Civic over and over again, you know. And so I wanted to put that into his play style. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Just repeated combos, and it's a lot of fun to play. I'm gonna get blank cards next week. I was gonna do it this week, but I had other things go up. So I can start writing the names of the cards with the effects.
Okay.
Like I won't have the artwork yet, but I'm just like actually having them in your hand and shuffling and playing with them. That's going to be another level of fine tuning.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that.
No, that sounds awesome.
In the story, Iron Knight uses an invisibility cloak, and so that's another layer of, you know, superhero jumping out of the shadows. Except he's like the Predator, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like you didn't see him at all. You just got hit by something real hard, and you have no idea why. You know, like that's the idea of in the future, if a vigilante's coming after you, what you just heard somebody gurgling, and you're like, what happened? And now you're on the ground, writhing in pain. Like that's vigilantism. And so I think also that's cool to us, but that's why the news hates guys like that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's scary.
Yeah.
I do a chapter in the book where he gets just massacred by the media because he's out there making a difference and people respect him, but the media is like, you know, he's taking justice into his own hands, and who does he think he is? And
yeah. That's cool. Bringing that aspect into it. I mean, the real world is just filled with media noise. So
yeah.
It just makes sense to have some of that in the story.
Do you remember the real life superhero movement?
No. Is that a thing?
It was a thing. It was more prevalent in Seattle and I want to say New York. But for a while, around 2012, 2015, something like that, there were real life superheroes. Yeah, it had to be 2012 because it was before the riots like dominated the news. And these guys would dress up like superheroes, and they were basically like social charity workers. Like they would pass out sandwiches and stuff, which is cool, but like also very dangerous, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the what was it? The Guardian Angels. Remember the Guardian Angels?
The biker gang?
Yeah, it's they I thought they were a gang that like a nice gang that rode the subways and would like kind of help people.
Okay, yeah, similar thing.
Yeah.
Well, at the height of the superhero movement, real life superhero movement, there was a guy named Phoenix Jones who, because everybody was passing out sandwiches and socks and stuff, they provided enough cover that he went out and literally beat the crap out of drug dealers and drugged them to the police station and left them there.
Wow.
And apparently that was a problem. And so like the media turned on this dude hard. And they were making it out like he was really a problem. And this was before I understood politics. Like, you know, oh, okay. Like now you see it, you're like, oh, okay, it's Seattle, Washington, of course. But like I didn't understand what the big problem was. Like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I see now how it can be a problem. I mean,
Yeah.
his story didn't end well either. I think he ended up like getting arrested for drugs himself or something.
Yeah, because it depends on your motivation and like who's to say that you're doing it, like what's bad to you might not be bad to someone else.
Yeah.
Or you might be misinterpreting what's going on and you beat up somebody that is trying to help somebody else or something. I don't know all the possible scenarios, but like it's not as black and white as
no, it wasn't black and white at all. No. I do like the idea that some guys will obscure their identity and then fill up a truck full of supplies and drive it to a disaster area, because that was something that happened.
Yeah, for sure.
But then there was like this weird Joker guy.
Of course.
He wanted to be a supervillain, and I don't think he was real. I don't think anything ever came from. But what if it was, though? And that's where it started getting scary. It's like, what if they actually took this to the next level?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was an interesting time. Phoenix Jones is his name if you ever want to look up the video.
Okay.
Or just like little mini docs of him out there.
And that's in Washington? That's the guy in Washington?
Yeah, he's in Seattle, Washington. But I think he was like an early influence of Iron Knight.
Okay. And this was 2012, you said?
I think it was 2012, or at least it came to a head in 2012.
Okay. That's funny.
I remember seeing him on Twitter, and if I remember correctly, Peter Thiel was like funding photo shoots for these guys, and they had these really cool photoshopped suits of them hanging off the sides of buildings and stuff. Like, it was an exciting time to be alive.
I guess.
I'm surprised that most people don't remember that when I hear about it, because I mean, there's news spots. They had their own RLSH hashtag. Like, it was a big deal. And like I said, I was growing up in a time where people were, why don't these guys go out and do something? Like, I almost drank that Kool-Aid.
Yeah. No, that's funny. That's funny because I mean, it takes some motivation. Like get off the couch and do something about it. That's you can rally behind at least that part of it.
I feel
really
like
believe in what you believe. It's hard to get people to get off the couch and get in the fight.
Yeah. And that part is like motivated to get up and do something. I'm with, but also like, if you're gonna do that, maybe get one of those sketchy video apps and watch some videos from the cartel as they take a chainsaw to a guy for messing with their drugs, and then like, because that's an idea of what you're about to get into. Like, you watch enough chainsaw videos and you'll.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I want to be Batman.
They're playing for keeps.
But I feel like if you're a person who has the capability to do something and you don't, that's probably evil.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go be a vigilante. I'm saying like, it's so hard. Boys and Girls Club, maybe?
Fun to photo shoot for vigilantes.
Photo shoot, yeah. Be Peter Thiel is really the whole point of this story. Is everybody should just go be Peter Thiel. Boy.
Hey, if you can't do it, right? At least you can give them some good marketing.
Those who can't fund.
There you go. There we
go.
George Soros, whoever else.
Do you remember Gem and the Holograms?
I do. Gem is
this is another influence of mine.
Gem and the Holograms?
Yes. It sounds goofy, but in the respect that they were the most prolific activists I'd ever seen on a TV show.
Okay.
And if you go back and watch it, that's really what it was. They were activists. Like, yeah, they were a pretty good band, but they were always like, we're doing this show to raise funds for a literacy program for kids who can't read.
Oh, wow.
What? And there's a whole storyline about that. How like one of the girls can't read and her friends are making fun of her, but Gem and the Holograms helped her learn how to read. Now, And now activism is like, go set a tree on fire because we're mad about toilet paper. It's like they don't even make sense anymore. There's too many frogs. We're gonna.
That's funny.
The first season is just amazing. It's like they're good people. People want to help them because they're good people.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like, I think the second season, there's just all this amazing activism that they participate in. It actually goes to help people.
Okay. No, I don't remember. I remember the cartoon, obviously, but I don't remember watching it. I don't remember much other than they were like performers. So they were like, were they also like super spies or something like that?
I think they flirted with that. They definitely had secret identities.
Yeah, that's
but
what
there
I
was
thought.
only so much stakes you could put in a show about pop stars. So they weren't like saving the world, but they were like stopping drama. I guess it was more like drama based saving the world. Like he's gonna end the record company. They're gonna give the Misfits the record contract instead.
Oh.
And the Misfits are like, we don't care about kids who can't read. Should be stupid, you know.
Nice. That does sound misfitty.
Dude,
I'm kidding.
they made a movie.
I don't know
and
anything
it was
about the
not
Misfits,
good.
so I know the Misfits are wildly popular, but I know nothing about them.
Not the punk band, the Misfits.
Oh, okay.
That was the rival band on Jim and the Holograms. They were called the Misfits.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But there was a Jim and the Hologram movie that came out circa 2015, I want to say 2016.
I remember that.
And it wasn't good. Like it just wasn't. But the end credit scene, I got freaking goosebumps because they had Kesha as the lead singer from the Misfits.
Mm-mm.
And I was like so mad about how bad that movie was. And then I saw the end credit scene and I was like, boy, howdy, I can't wait for part 2. You know?
I don't know who that is. Who's Kesha?
Girl media. Kesha is a female pop star that was like, I don't know how to explain it. Give me a second. It's like if you take rave culture and punk rock culture and new wave culture and you give it to somebody who just like is 2 clicks away from getting into a fight herself. Like she's not like violent in her music, but she could definitely set the tone for somebody who would watch other people fight and cheer it on. You know?
Okay.
There's a song called Blow by Kesha, and that song is everything you need to know about Kesha.
Okay.
Which I think it's a pretty good song still.
Okay.
I actually based a character on the song Blow by Kesha.
Okay. All right. So like, is she still around making music?
Unfortunately, yes. And I say unfortunately because she's not the same person. I mean, you're supposed to grow and be dynamic, but
Sure.
I think something happened to her, like real bad, and it just like broke her.
Okay.
And now she's like making like political cheerleader songs.
Oh no.
And it's super cringe.
Yeah. Ay. Does she believe in it or just collecting a paycheck, do you think?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because I just stopped paying attention. You know, it was like I want to remember her the way she was. So I don't really engage in any of that new stuff that she's doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like how Lady Gaga used to be.
Yeah.
And now she's like super, like she's way weirder now, but and not in the same way. It's like that.
Okay.
I sound like those old folkies from the metal bands. Like their first album was really good. Now they suck.
I was just gonna say, welcome to the 50s. Welcome to Gen X.
Yeah, welcome to my mid 40s.
I assume you're a millennial. Are you a millennial?
I am an elder millennial. I was born in 81.
Okay.
So by some counts, I'm a Gen X, but all those counts are wrong.
I think it depended on if you had older siblings or younger siblings. I think if you had older siblings, you were pulled up into more Gen X type things. But if you had younger siblings, you were pulled down to the millennial. That's my theory on
Yeah, that's
the some
possibly
of the
true.
differences.
I could see the logic there. Like I
Yeah.
had Gen X parents.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
So my parents had me young, and they definitely have all of the Gen X traits.
Yeah.
Like
All
there's
the
a lot of
best.
conversation
I
we had
get it.
there.
They're super cool. Is that what you're saying?
They did. My dad was a radio DJ.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ways, he's still a DJ. It's just that the world has kind of changed around him a bit, so
Mm,
he can't really do things in the same context that he used to. But yeah, you give my dad a couple of turntables and some speakers, and he will just be satisfied all night.
nice. Nice. Now you do some music too, right? Are you still doing music, or are you?
Yes and no. So this song that we're listening to is actually a remix of one of my songs from my 2018 album called Ascension. It's called Where Do We Stand? And so basically it's just asking the question of like, hey, you say the world's going to crap and but we still don't know what we believe. And so if we believe this, then what are we going to do? If we believe that, then what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that applies to superheroes very well.
Mm-hmm.
I made another album last year of AI remixes.
Mm-hmm.
I took all of my lyrics and song structures and I got a lot of cool stuff, but then my aggregator won't let me put it on iTunes or Spotify because it's
Wow.
AI.
Oh, okay.
So if you go to my Substack, you should be able to get it.
Yeah,
I'll have
like
to make sure that's still the case.
I was gonna say, like I remember you releasing it, and I liked a couple songs on there. Like I didn't listen to the whole thing, but
Yeah.
like when I say I liked a couple songs, I really liked a couple songs, and they were all really good.
There was a lot of them on there too.
Yeah. So I mean, there were a lot that I liked.
I'm gonna have to find the time, maybe today even, to really rework the website to make that more prominent, because Substack's archiving is what I've been relying on. It's not very good.
Okay.
You know, you have to really go out of your way to, like, if you're a new user and you're new to Substack and you show up, good luck finding anything I wrote 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It's just the way the website is built. So I need to archive the album a little better. If I was expecting that they were going to let me put it on iTunes.
Yeah.
So I just didn't really put that much effort into it. But yeah, my distributor reached out to me about a week ago and it's like, yeah, that's a no-go.
That's crazy. Just because
it is
you
crazy.
use AI.
Yeah, and that's the only we don't allow people to do that. It's like, bro, that's literally what SoundCloud does, or not SoundCloud, Spotify. Like Spotify makes its own AI music and puts it on playlists. Like, but I'm not allowed to do that. Apparently, no. So I'll figure it out. It'll be on the website or something.
Yeah.
But I do have this song as a YouTube video. You should check that out.
Okay.
It's like Where Do We Stand? What remix is it called? I got one for Marvel Rivals, and then I got one for a bunch of anime intros, and it makes the perfect intro superhero song.
No, I dig it. I have
I'm amazed that you're able to draw in a circle like that. Like that's probably one of the hardest things to do. You just did it all in one line. Like, sorry.
I hold my breath. So
Oh,
that is something that like I'm trying to get away from it actually, doing such perfect lines, but like the bike just calls for it, you know. The bike calls for the wheel, the look of it. And I'm gonna go.
Do you ever like concentrating on something so hard that your own heartbeat is a distraction?
I don't think that I've ever had that experience. But I definitely, when I'm doing like inks for like the final inks on something, and I really want to get it right, I tend to hold my breath. But that's about as far
Yeah,
as I go.
no, that's fine. I don't draw anymore. I used to draw when I was in high school, and I remember holding my breath, and then my heart would be beating too hard, and so I'd be like, "Stop."
I mean, yeah, it happens. It happens.
That is so dope.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's put in the blackness at the tires. I'm gonna blacken in like some of these parts, like the seat here.
Just
So when you
watching
put
it
it-
happen is just like,
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So that's part of the segment here. This new segment. Can I draw? Can you draw? I've only done this with a couple of people in the past, where they asked if they could watch me draw it, and usually it's like, I don't know. It's like, because you make a lot of mistakes, and you end up erasing a lot, and there's some regrettable commissions out there. But I've gotten more and more confident in these later years, so I feel
yeah.
like
I feel like there's a level of trust on the end of the commissioner that you have to show some restraint and not. Could you do it this way instead? Just shut up and let them draw.
Sometimes there's not. Sometimes they just, oh man, you didn't do. I'm like, bro, I just inked it. You watched me ink it, and now you're telling me that you don't like what I just did. But yeah, no, that's I feel.
No, I'm trying to be a good example on the commissioner's side. Like, this is how you do it. Have a good conversation. Trust the artists, because it's turning out dope. Like sometimes I'll have an idea, and I don't know it's a stupid idea until I see the comparison of what the actual artist is doing. It's like, yeah, what I was thinking was stupid. But I don't know if a lot of people are that honest with themselves.
Yeah,
I am very deep into the self-deprecating humor. Yeah. Sometimes it's not even humor. Because otherwise I draw it. Yeah. Like, that's your other alternative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what else? What else are you working
on? Oh, you know what? There is one thing I didn't show off. I was pulling some comics off the shelf. So we did Apocalyptiverse magazine.
Yeah.
And this is for those who don't know, James was a part of this project here.
Let me pull that up here.
So it's the spring issue, free comic book day. Hannah Rose Williams, the editor and artist for one of the comics inside, she actually went down to her local comic shop and was talking to people and passing them out. And send her some kudos online, because she went way out of her comfort zone to do that.
Yeah.
But what we got is a let's see. So this is like one of the pages. There's a article here coming out of a comic book, and so each page, it's full format for magazines, but like when you put the comics, they're set up different, so we have a wide margin to account for that. But that's okay. We got a lot of writing. Here's a specialty Alpha Red black and white. I was so impressed that you even had this as a possibility. Like, I wanted to ask, and I thought you were gonna be like a lot of artists I've dealt with, they just get annoyed with you just for asking that. Like, hey, do you have a black and white version of your comic? Because they're so happy they colored it. And you were like, hey, I have a black and white copy. Like, what? Yes, that's exactly what we need.
No, that is no. I like the process, and I know that some people appreciate it, some people don't, but I appreciate it. So I like to have a version done of it.
I don't know if I have a copy here, But I've been reading that Absolute Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely demented, but
I know,
I
I know
bought a
you're not a
black and
fan.
white noir version of it, and I thought that looks really good. That's how you can tell what kind of art you're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
because you look through the colors, and the colors are, I don't mean this in a bad way, but colors are spectacle. You
Yeah.
know, you can get a colored piece of an artwork, and it's just like, wow, look at that, and the fire and the trees and the sunset and stuff. And then you
Mm-hmm.
see the black and white inks, and it's just like,
Yeah. Yep.
not very, and that's really the case with the Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman. I think I don't like the Brazilian art style.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Gargoyle of Gotham's the same way. They got that Brazilian artwork. It looks like Absolute Batman's going that way. Now, Wolverine Revenge, you know what you're signing up for with Wolverine Revenge, because it's meant to be violent.
Mm-hmm.
But the artist, Capullo,
Capullo.
why do I keep saying his name wrong? Capullo. He's bringing his A game. Like, he's
Mhm.
bringing it. And I like him on Wolverine because he's a hard character to draw because he's so short and stocky.
Mm-hmm.
I like what he's doing.
Mhm.
But I've seen this stuff in black and white, and it's just like, yeah, this is real deal. This is real deal stuff.
Yep.
So I'm gonna dig into Wolverine Revenge after this session. That's why I pulled that out.
Yeah.
I'm reluctant to get into the Wonder Woman, but I already bought them, so I have to at least read them.
I think
I got
that,
4, 5, and 6 here. I don't know where that story's going yet.
yeah. So I think the people spoke up about how bad the artwork was on Absolute Wonder Woman, so they have switched.
Yeah.
They have switched him. He's apparently doing another book which fits his artwork much better. But for Wonder Woman, people were like, not great. But
Yeah,
that
there's
was-
different names on number 6. Now, looking at the cover, I don't know if this is an improvement. I'll tell you right now, because oh my gosh, that's so much better.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
I heard
Holy crap! It's like a totally different book, bro.
that. Yeah.
Oh my god, that is, what is this? This is not the same book, bro.
Yeah. I hear it's the best one according to Thinking Critical. He says it's the best one now. It's the best absolute book because the artwork has improved. They switched artists, and it's a better fit for the
Okay.
book.
I'm gonna go out there. I wasn't crazy about the artwork because I said, like, I don't like that Brazilian art style.
Mhm.
And this was very doodly. I think the artist that was on here originally,
Mhm.
and that's the best word I can come. You know how somebody puts a lot of detail into a drawing that's okay? Like, he's
Mhm.
not a bad artist. I can't
Yeah.
draw, but it's almost like he doesn't know when to stop drawing. You know, it's just, he just keeps going. And so
Yeah.
I don't like when artists put nostrils in individual teeth in a drawing. That
Yeah.
sincerely bothers me. Like,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
get
that kind of style, like individual strands of hair. He just overdoes it.
Uh-huh.
He's good with proportions though.
Yeah.
There's some things that he was doing with this art that I'm not sure if it was art direction or if he was trying to do it. Like, she's got a very Arab nose.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody mention that. Is that by design?
I think that's his style. I don't know.
Okay.
It's
I don't remember seeing Wonder Woman with an Arab nose.
yeah.
And it seems like they're trying to change her race or something, because there's one game where it looks like she's Latino.
Yeah. I think that it was what was I gonna say? It was inconsistent. Is
Very.
how people were describing it.
They were describing it as inconsistent. I thought it was
Yeah, because
consistent.
like the close-ups, it's either the close-ups look terrible, but the far away stuff looked okay, or vice versa. With that,
I don't think that's
first part.
I don't think that's a fair critique. I think they just didn't. No, because like, yeah, it's very. I'm looking at it right now. I've never thought inconsistent. I just
Okay.
don't like the art style.
Yeah, yeah,
His proportions and faces are weird when you
Mhm.
compare it to his bodily proportions. That's for sure. But it's not something that So okay, so there's a little more detail than I prefer. There's things that bother, like I said, teeth and individual and nostrils and stuff like that bothers me.
Hmm.
The doodly aspect of it, when I say it's kind of reminds me of like a Tumblr artist, with the lots of swirls and pebbles and things. Like there's some things about it that kind of remind me of that Tumblr era art.
Yeah.
But inconsistent that's not a critique I would have. It just doesn't have that American feel. It's very unique. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I don't want to say I hate it, because there's a lot that I like about it. But this number 6 is holy crap. That's a totally different book, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna finish it. Maybe I'll just read Wonder Woman today instead.
I'll
also say I don't trust Wes's opinion.
Oh, I don't always agree either. So
because sometimes he goes like he's glazing over stuff that I'll get it and I'm like, I don't know, man. But I might just be weird because I like anime.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
yeah, I don't. I definitely don't agree with all of it, but I like hearing about it. There's a lot of people who don't talk about it, and a lot of people don't talk about all the things that he talks about. So
the thing that I'm noticing about the YouTube environment, and this is why I'm not doing a whole lot of reviews right now. Like me personally, I'm busy. I have a personal life. I'm working on a lot of stuff. But like when I talk about books, I talk about them as a person who read the book without anybody else's input.
Right.
I really try to do that. And I don't feel like it's natural or statistically possible for dozens of people to have the exact same opinion that I somehow missed.
Yeah. No, I know that his it seems like some of his normal people that he has on there, they disagree with his takes also. So
no, I'm not talking about Wes specifically. I'm just talking about the review world in general.
Okay.
It feels like people like Wes are at the top of the food chain. They form the opinions, and then everybody else just repeat whatever they said.
Yeah.
Because Wes is definitely a top tier commentator in the comments that I hear. But I'll listen to. Sometimes I listen to Sasha from Casually Comics, and it feels like she's getting insight about stuff. Maybe she's just brilliant. Maybe she's, but she picks up on stuff that I have to go back to the comic and be like, holy crap, I missed that completely.
Yeah.
Like an Absolute Batman when the shotgun pieces were in shapes of little bat symbols. Yeah. I completely missed that.
Yeah. No, she, I forget that I like some of her takes. Like I was watching her for a while, and the algorithm must have stopped showing me her stuff because I haven't seen her stuff in a while.
Well, because she would rather talk about it feels like she would rather talk about Golden and Silver Age comics.
So that is a part of it too. I was like, man, she seems like she went all in, and she went all in on the older stuff, and that's not where I picked up comics. So I can't relate to a lot of the passion that she has about that stuff, the older stuff.
Yeah. So that critique, it's more of a preference, I don't have a problem with Sasha's style. Yeah. Wes, I just don't agree with him most of the time because I think he's a military person, and I don't have that military brotherhood thinking that they have. Yeah. But then sometimes there'll be somebody on their show and they'll be going on and on about, oh, the box of pizza on the floor, and I'm like, who gets bothered by that? Like, I get we all have our opinions, but like I'm watching all right, here's another one I got. Ninja Turtles versus Ninja Turtles and Naruto. It's kind of like an Elseworld story.
Sure. How was it?
I haven't heard anybody talk about that. The only thing I've heard people say is, who asked for this?
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing I've heard people say about it. And Sasha actually went in and went through it.
Yeah, I don't understand either, because I showed up at the comic book store a couple of probably maybe a year ago, and there was a Ninja Turtles He-Man Masters of the Universe. I was like,
that's what Ninja Turtles does.
Yeah, but it was like, so the artwork was like appealing, and then so I picked it up and I read it, and I was like, why did they do this? Like, it made no sense. Made
I'm
no
on the
sense.
other side. So Ninja Turtles is here's maybe okay. Ninja Turtles is a brand that you reach out to elevate your new project.
Sure,
You
sure.
say, I want to do a crossover, and it's always your character meets Ninja Turtles, and they start throwing hands before they get a chance to talk to each other fully, and it's a
Yep.
misunderstanding. It's just Batman v Superman every time,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's what you just have to be okay with it. That's what they're gonna do.
Well,
I
it was
haven't
like
read a story that wasn't like that.
it was like it wasn't it actually this one wasn't like that. This one was like they were already in the middle of some kind of big battle, and
Yeah.
the Ninja Turtles were on the side of the Masters of the Universe, obviously.
Oh,
And
okay. That's a nice twist.
yeah, and like the Shredder was already in cahoots with Skeletor and the bad guys, and they just they were gearing up for this big battle, and they were talking to April O'Neil and Splinter from back in New York through this time portal magic thing. They said, "Hey, we got to
Okay.
stay here, and we gotta help them, or else it's something really bad happens or whatever."
We got to reschedule our flight.
Yeah, something. I was just like, "Oh my goodness, like why
and
why is
and,
this
and
happening?"
that's usually the case. Like, they'll the stories that I've read, they'll fight the first issue, and then they'll be friends the second issue, and then they'll be like, there's a bigger problem, and the bigger problem is always like their universe is bad guy and the Shredder, and then like their universe is bad guy or the Shredder, one of them double crosses the other,
Yeah,
and that's how they destroy each other, and then the other one runs away, because those contractual agreements that there's only certain things you can do.
yeah. So
And
I don't.
I'm not critiquing that. That's just how
Yeah,
I see the
no,
template.
yeah. You got to protect your IP, and you gotta I'm not gonna loan Alpha Red out to somebody where he's a jerk and he gets I don't know,
Decapitated.
beat up by little girls. Or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Disrespected.
yeah, yeah. But at the same time, like, so I don't know if there was a number 2 of this thing, but I think they had a toy line because they had new designs for the turtles, like more He-Man-ish designs for the turtles, which looked awesome. Like I said,
Okay.
the artwork is what got me. It
That's
was
so
like
on
colorful.
brand for both brands.
Yeah. So it was really cool. And then I was like, I read it and I was like, wow, I can never have that time back. Like, what a waste of.
So with He-Man and Ninja Turtles, they were toy line kind of
Sure.
character. I think Ninja Turtles had a story, They were
Yeah.
comics first, but He-Man, Masters of the Universe,
Yeah.
that's all toy line. Transformers, same thing. That's why I never trust when people are glazing it and they're like, oh, G.I. Joe and Transformers. It's like, they look cool. I know people that collect the toys. They always look cool to me, but like, I can't get into stories, especially Masters of the Universe. It always feels like an afterthought.
Uh-huh. That's exactly what it felt like. I was like, what is even going on? I can't even.
So, fun fact that I'm
Mhm.
sure everyone knows about Ninja Turtles, but I'm going to bring it up anyway, is apparently it's a spinoff of like a parody of Daredevil.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And the chemicals that gave Daredevil his powers are basically
Yeah.
the same chemicals that made the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I found that out very recently, like embarrassingly so.
Yeah. And the hand is a commentary on the foot. It's like the
Yeah.
the hand and the foot, and Splinter is like Stick, who trained Daredevil. Daredevil's mentor was Stick, and so the Ninja Turtles master was Splinter, which is just a smaller
Love it.
Stick.
I'm glad that they changed the way things are going with Turtles, because I went back and read some of the original stuff, and it wouldn't have lasted. Especially with them killing all their characters all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah, it gets dark, man. And Shredder was like made of worms or flies or something. It got
wow.
really weird. Yeah, they killed him, but then his like spirit came back in the form of a bunch of worms.
I did not know that.
But I love the Ninja Turtles as a crossover because it's a good grounding baseline to see like where do your characters stand.
Yeah.
You know, like if they're not as fun and they can't keep up with the Ninja Turtles, then you got to go back to the drawing board. You know,
I
like
wonder.
that seems fair.
I wonder how much it would cost to license the turtles out to cross over with Alpha Red. They'll head to Diver City.
I wonder how many people have thought about that. It's probably got to be tens of thousands, if not more.
Yeah, more than what I have in the bank account, I'm sure.
But if you had the distribution in the chamber, it would be so worth it.
Right.
What I think would be probably more feasible is if you approach Udon, because they have the Street Fighter rights.
Oh, okay.
Udon might actually work with you.
Yeah.
I think about this myself, you know, because I would never. Okay, first of all, let me take that back. I don't want to say I would never, but I don't think it would be wise or really even possible for me to team up my characters with like Batman or DC Universe.
Why?
Well, first of all, they make their characters to be the bestest ever, always in every situation.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, when I'm realistically comparing my characters to any of the DC lineup, they're completely overpowered. I don't know how Batman takes his own rogues gallery down. I wrote an article about that.
Yeah.
And then you move to Marvel, and it's the same problem times 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like, do you know that Spider-Man dodged lightning?
What?
I'm not writing anything like that. Like, why? Why is Spider-Man dodging lightning? He ain't got no business being that fast.
All right. So
yeah, I have to like temper back to like Ninja Turtles and simple stuff like that. Street Fighter.
Yeah. Street level, just their ninja skills, right?
Yeah, it makes sense for the universe I'm writing. Like, I don't want to do all that other stuff. But think about the money. If they were like, "Hey, we got all this money," and I'd be like, "Okay," and they'd be like, "We want your character," and I'd be like, "I have a character? I thought you had a character. I got all this money." I'm not saying I would sell them instantly, but I'm willing to bend to get traction going. That would be cool. Oh my gosh, like if you ever got approached by one of the big two, and they were like, "We're gonna buy your character," they would probably just bury it instantly. Like the next year.
Yeah. So I have thought about that. Like, would I sell my character? Would I sell Alpha Red off? And I don't know how much money it would take to sell him off. You know? I have all these stories. Like, where would all these stories go? Like, that would have to be built into the deal that you have to do the story arcs that I haven't completed yet. Yeah.
I think I would rather hitch my wagon to something smaller that has more promise, like Udon or even Antarctic Press, you know, somebody who actually has their foot in the door and doesn't have a history of burying things.
Yeah.
Because they bury their big two bury stuff all the time. Udon, I think, keep an eye on them. They're not super big, but they're merchandising. Like if you're selling 3,000 comics a year, that's still better than 0.
Right.
And I don't hear a lot of people talk about it on these numbers because I know they want it to be their full-time job and stuff. But realistically, if you're selling 3,000 to 5,000 books a year as a crowdfunder who does a yearly campaign, like what is your average crowdfunder selling?
What do you mean? Are you asking me?
Yeah.
It's all over the map. I mean,
it's all over. I didn't know if we had a baseline to compare it to.
No, I mean, you look at the new thing from Riposen, the mighty golden, what is it? Patriot? I don't know if you keep up. Are you keeping up with it?
No.
Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. He does look like a Power Ranger. That's all I can think of when I look at him. But
I bought. Where is it? Hang on. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Yeah. So he has sold over 2,000 copies of his book. $17 a piece, plus shipping. Like I bought the cheapest one. I did support it, and so I bought the $17 one, and with the shipping, it's $25.05. $25.05. So like $8 and change or something for the shipping. And he's up to like $70,000. But he has to pay Ripasend and all that stuff.
Are there like Ripaverse Facebook groups or anything like that you know of?
Not that I know of. I think
I should look into that. I bought this last year. Let me see. Let me pull it up. And this was like at the beginning of my I'm making comics now journey.
All right, hang on a second. Let me grab this here. Boomski.
Because it's a really cool character design. I like her powers. I like her look. I was ready to go. I have another shirt. I'm not gonna do that to your channel, but I have another shirt here. That's not comics. But anyways, I wear the two shirts everywhere, and nobody knows about this. Like, I go to comic stores, I talk to other comic people, and they don't recognize it, and it's frustrating because I'm trying to help, get it out there. But then, like, when I do meet somebody who knows about it, they don't really want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I wasn't crazy
I didn't
about
pick up
the book.
Yaira. Did you pick up Yaira?
Yeah, I got the book, and I wasn't crazy about it.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, I don't know, like if I'm going to enjoy it by myself, I have to enjoy it.
Sure.
And that's how I feel like it puts me in that position where I'm not enjoying the book. I don't know anybody who actually likes this. Like the people that say that they like it, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So it puts me in a weird place as a fan.
Yeah.
Like I don't buy comics to not talk about them.
Sure. Check out The Thinkening. I know I mentioned it to you when we talked on the phone.
I forgot. I'm gonna write that down. You did tell me that.
Yeah, The Thinkening. He likes the Ripaverse, and he likes what they're doing. And so I'm sure he'd love to discuss it with you.
I like what they're doing. I'm just like it's not
for
bleeding
sure.
over, and I don't know why.
That's one of the only reasons why. Not one of the only reasons, but they inspire me. So I want to participate in what they're doing. Is why I keep supporting them.
Maybe it's still too soon, but it feels like it's been a couple years now.
Yeah, I think it's just under 2 years. Just under 2.
What I wanted to see, and this isn't to blame. This isn't Rippaverse's fault, I don't think. But like, why haven't they had an opportunity to do a crossover with a known brand and cross-pollinate by now? I don't think it's an issue of money. Like, other companies aren't approaching them. Like like what's the deal? Like, I've seen Lady Death crossovers.
Yeah. So
a lot of this is just me being naive and not really knowing how stuff works.
Right, for sure.
I need to throw that out there because I don't want people to think like I know what I'm talking about. I'm asking questions.
Yes.
Because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And like the people who know just zip lip.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So
that looks dope.
Yeah. You like that? This is. Let me see if I can flatten it out here to
zoom out.
But that is supposed to kind of get you to think of the original here. So, ready, set, Kabamski. So hopefully people will associate the two, and they'll recognize your inspiration. And
yes,
and that's that. All right,
and that's going to be the only inspiration, though.
Okay.
I don't see Canada punching dudes in the throat like you do Iron Knight. All right.
Well, I appreciate you commissioning me and trusting me with your character, and I appreciate you spending the time with me. No, this has been awesome, and we've known each other for a couple months here through Substack, and we chat on the phone every now and again. So I appreciate you tapping me to bring a little bit more of Iron Knight to life here for other folks.
I love talking about it. It's a good conversation.
No, this has been great.
Happy Free Comic Book Day, by the way.
Yeah, right. So, this will be airing on Thursday, but thank you. I appreciate the
Happy Thursday.
Happy day after Comic Book Wednesday, right? But it will be what it'll be. I appreciate it. I'm gonna take you off the stream, say goodbye, and then you hang out, and then we'll chat on the other side of this, if you don't mind.
All right.
Unless you got it,
Peace,
unless
guys.
you got to bounce. But just
No, I'm
hang.
good.
All right.
All
Very
right.
cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm gonna boom ski. All right, guys. Well, here we are at the end of another Can You Draw segment. So, can you draw Iron Knight? That is the question that I hope I answered for Shae and for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you want me to draw your character, or if you want me to draw your favorite Marvel or DC character, you can reach me at alpharedcomic@gmail.com, and we can talk about how much it costs. And we can do this. We can hang out. We can talk about your favorite character that I'm drawing, your favorite artist, your favorite writer, whatever. But I do really appreciate it. Be on the lookout for my new crowdfunder for Alpha Red number 7. I hope that you will stick around to support that. I'm trying to get it ready to be done by May 12th is when I want to launch. So hopefully we can be talking about that next week, and then you can support me. So hopefully, well, I appreciate the time, and we will see you on the next episode. Can I call them episodes of Can You Draw? All right. Appreciate it. I'm going to hit some buttons, but until then, grace and peace. We are out. Button 1.
From the shadows he rises with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start. With faith as his armor and a fire in his soul, Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Red. Full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission and work. Guided by God, with strength from above, he battles the darkness with unyielding love. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red, Alpha Red. When the night seems too long and hope seems so far, look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.